want to, jump into today's episode, which is highlighting the theme of our new podcast title. And that is You're Overqualified, How to Stop Waiting to Feel Ready. And so there is this big thing that will come up when it comes to, do I feel ready to do the thing? So do I feel ready that I can ask for this promotion? Do I have to take X, Y, and more, Z steps in order to really ask for it? Do I feel ready to start this business? Do I have to have more experience or create more planning or, figure out the perfect ideal client? Am I ready? Am I qualified enough? Can I become a speaker? Can I go for a new kind of career and career path and trajectory? And so a lot of these times, what's coming up for us is we're trying to qualify ourselves. We're trying to say, am I an expert? Do I have enough experience? Am I able to do this? And honey, yes, you do. Yes, you do. Especially the women that I work with, especially, right? Because you are so ambitious, you are so driven, you are so dedicated, you are so motivated when it comes to your work, when it comes to your family, when it comes to your friends. Typically, who I'm working with, ever since they were a little child, they have been given responsibilities to take on for their family. Either they are the ones parenting their parents and their family, or they're the ones parenting their siblings, or they're the ones who are figuring everything out. So you is who I'm talking to. You have been overqualified since the day you were born. And that is because you have been shouldering the mental, emotional, physical labor of generations and generations, from the guy on the project in college who did not do his work that you had to carry the weight, from your parents who didn't understand how to fill out some paperwork, so you had to do it for them, even though it was their responsibility as a parent, for you who was taking care of your younger siblings, right? When your parents were busy multitasking, doing too many things because they were busy with work. That's totally understandable, but it doesn't mean that you haven't gained all this experience and qualities to be the project manager, right, of people's lives and of your life, right? To bring things to fruition, to be launching multiple things at once. And so anytime you doubt yourself and you stop yourself from feeling as though you are ready, I want you to think to yourself, would you tell that to your friend, and would you tell that to your family member? If your friend was telling you that they don't feel ready to do something, they don't feel ready to ask for a salary increase, they don't feel ready to ask for a promotion, they don't feel ready to start a business, what would you tell them? What would you tell them? And I'm coming in hot today because it breaks my heart. And this is why I do this work. It breaks my heart because, listen, having changed careers 5 times, having from a sample coordinator to a VP of $1 billion company. And I say that because by doing that, I saw so many mediocre people in high-level positions doing the bare minimum, asking for the most. And what ends up happening is that the squeaky wheel does move through because they are vocal, they're in the right places at the right time, they're talking to the right people. And so even though they may not be the most qualified or the most experienced, they make it up. And so when we have cultural differences or different cultural values, which I talk about a lot, like I'm mixed identity, y'all. Like I was born in America, but my family is from the Philippines, China, Puerto Rico. Like there is a whole mix of identity there of these different cultures. So growing up in America with these different values, there's a difference between like the collective doing what's best for the group, doing what's best for the unit, versus being very like individualistic and just focusing on yourself and trying to make yourself successful. And so when these things start to combat in corporate America, we start to wonder why does it feel like it's falling off for women, especially women of color, to get into leadership positions? And that's because a lot of the values that were instilled in us are beautiful, are gorgeous values that were instilled in us. But we just have to become aware of, when we're in a certain system that values certain values over others, do we want to, one, figure out how we can change that for the overall system and the environment and for the future generations? Do we want to just let it fly like that? And how do we want to make our lives become more successful? How do we want to create, success for ourselves, and how do we want to define that? And so what I'm talking about is this. I just don't want you to discount yourself before you get there. And so this is for you if someone has been noodling on some idea and you have not taken action towards it. I just want you to notice that you are cutting yourself off from an opportunity. And so what can you do to take these steps forward? How can you start to feel ready? You're not. You're not going to feel ready because our brains, we know I'm going to bring it back to our brains. Our brains want to keep us safe. Our brains want to keep us in something that's familiar. Our brains want to keep us in something that is secure. And so you're going to stay in the same exact lane if you are waiting to feel ready. So how you start to know if things are ready and right is by taking action and taking steps forward. And it's going to be messy. It's going to be so messy. And you may fail at times, which sounds really terrifying. And you may say to me, Danny, I don't have a backup plan. Danny, I don't have a trust fund. Danny, I don't have a savings. Okay, I get it. So then that tells me you're taking too big of a step. So take a smaller step towards your goals. I talk about this with my clients. It's called the evidence ladder. Okay, the evidence ladder. So when we want to take a really big step, so I have my clients map this out, this exercise with me. Let's say the big step is I want to change careers. The big step is I want to ask for this promotion. This big step is that I want to start my business, right? And they're like, nope, feels scary. That's because our nervous system and our minds are like, I'm jumping off a cliff here. I can't make it happen. And so we feel like I'm not an expert enough. I don't have enough certifications. I don't have enough education. I don't have enough experience. And so we start to say that we're underqualified. And so I'm always like, you are overqualified. You have to collect the evidence, collect the receipts. I'm all about the receipts. I'm all about the data. And so I have them work through the evidence ladder where we figure out where are the building blocks to get you to your goal. And that's what helps you not just go off of feelings, but also facts, which is what I'm all about. And so how can you use the feelings as signals as to why you're feeling like, ooh, I'm not ready. I'm going to stop. What is that feeling actually? Is it fear? And if that is the case, how do we collect the data, the facts, to help counteract and support those feelings and to move you forward to what it is that you want to pursue? And so this is where I go in here of you're overqualified all this time. You just need to work through the system to achieve that goal by breaking down the data and evidence to help support it, to help your mind, your nervous system realize that it is possible. And so the question that I have for you to kind of reflect on and think about is, what is the thing that I did that was a big jump or a big move? Like, did you make a big move? Did you, decide on a major? Did you decide on going to a new company? If you have made a big decision in the past that maybe you were like nervous and didn't feel ready to do, what did you do to make it happen? And that is something to kind of noodle on to figure out. And so I say all of this because I'm just thinking about like two different clients, honestly, three different clients that I have this week where I was having chat. So I have one client who, total baddie. She went on maternity leave and she came back and she wanted to go for a promotion. And basically she had a new manager come in and she was told that she was gonna have to wait for a 1-year review cycle. And so we sat down and created a plan of like, let's collect the data and the evidence of like why that's probably not the scope of what it is that you want. She was able to go back, combat it. And now she is in the cycle for 6 months. So she basically, by sitting down and collecting the evidence and versus saying like, oh, I'm not qualified, I don't have all the things. It was like, no, let's sit down and qualify it of how to achieve that. Now she's moved up her cycle by 6 months, half a year. She moved it up by half a year. And so just knowing that like you can sit down and do this work for yourself of what it is that you want and how to get there. My other client, she was her and her organization parted ways. She always wanted to go full-time in her business. And she was like, I don't think I can do it. How can I ever support myself? How am I able to cover my bills? I'm living in New York City. That stuff isn't cheap, And so, oh my gosh, what if I'm going to fail? So again, it's like, oof, big goal, big jump, right? So one person's a promotion. The next person is starting their business. What if I have no safety net? I've immigrated to this country. I don't have a backup plan. My family is overseas. What if I fail at starting this business for myself? And so again, it was the same thing, like, okay, let's go to the exercise of mapping out the data and evidence of what is needed in order for this to happen. I just caught up with her the other day. She's booked and busy. She has so many different clients that have come out of the woodwork from the exercises that we went through. And now she is able to build her business, work on her own terms. But we were co-working yesterday and from this beautiful hotel lobby. And she is working with all these different brands now where she's like, I was like working late and I'm getting paid hourly. So this is amazing because she has her own business and she can do that. And so that's the thing that's amazing. And for her, it was always about having freedom of her time, her location, her being able to set her pricing, her being able to set who she works with. She's working with women-led brands. So And this is our third time working together. The first time we worked together was for her to get a job, which she did, and she landed, and she got a double promotion and she doubled her salary. And now we're working together again. And this time it's about her building out her business and going like full time on her own. And so I'm just so proud for her, right? Because a lot of these fears could stop us from taking this action. Like, I'm not ready. I don't have an official website. She doesn't even have a website. Like, I don't have a website. I don't have this. No, it's about doing the thing and putting yourself out there. And that is when you start to feel ready. You build as you go. I know that feels so scary for a lot of us because it doesn't feel safe for us. And so that's the biggest thing that I'm going to help you with is figuring out how to make it feel safe, right? How to make it feel safe. And that's the most important thing. So I could go on and on about my clients. I absolutely love and adore them, and they are total baddies. I love them so much, but I will not bore you with that. But I would say this for you. If you have been sitting on something for a while, waiting to see if you're ready, but that idea has been sitting for months, maybe even years, then I would say book a call to learn about what it's like to work together in private coaching. I'm working with people exclusively in private coaching just because I have found I love it. I love it so much. We get so much deeper. I move them along so much faster just in 2 sessions. 2 sessions, I've tracked it because I'm all into data, as we know. I went back, I did an analysis of all my client calls, all of my clients' goals, what it is they wanted to achieve. And I found within 1 to 2 sessions, they felt like they were already taking action towards their plan of what they wanted, whether that was getting their promotion mapped out and approved by their manager for a timeline and for a budget, whether that was for being able to go all in on their business or start to build out their business part-time while in corporate. And so I would say to you, like, why snooze on it anymore? Like, the one resource that we can never get back is time. You can't buy more time, And so I would just say, if you are too busy scrolling, like, stop and let's take some action on some of your goals. And so what does it like to work together is the first step you're going to see is to book a call. So go to my website, DaniTan.com. That's DANITAN.com. There's a contact tab. You click on that tab and you book a call with me. The call is 60 minutes. And the reason why it's 60 minutes is because we want to make sure it makes sense. I don't just take on anyone. I always want to make sure it feels right for both of us. And so on that call, we're going to talk about what your goals are, where you're kind of feeling stuck, where you would like support. And then I would talk about a plan for you and what it looks like to work together. It's always a custom plan based off of that person's goals and what they want to achieve when they're coming into a call. And so just knowing that's what it's really like. So we're kind of like diagnosing for like the first half hour. I'm giving you recommendations in the plan, and then I close it out on how it's like to work together officially. All right. And so I work with folks either in 3-month segments or 6-month segments. If you're like, oof, I don't know, I have no idea which one would be best, don't worry, I'll recommend one to you. Ultimately, you're the decider, but I will always recommend one for you. And so I highly recommend just booking a call so we can get to know each other and meet each other. When you book a call, there's an intake form that's going to ask you some questions, fill that out. That helps me feel informed on how to best serve you and how to best recommend a plan of what it's like to work together. And so if you're like, I don't have a plan, I don't know what I want to do, that's why you're coming to coaching. That's what we're going to do to work together. So if you're kind of like, I know I want to do something for myself, but I'm not sure what it is, we'll talk about it. That's totally okay. I'll tell you this, like years ago when I was signing up for coaching, I knew I wanted to have a business, but I wasn't sure what kind of business it was. And so I was like, oof, I could never make an investment in coaching. I don't know what I want it to be. No, I figured it out in coaching, and I built that out by understanding what my skill sets were, what my experiences were, and how to translate that over into something that I want to do. So that's what I help a lot of my clients with. A lot of them have broken into leadership, and now they're like, oof, I want to long-term plan something for myself. And so now they're building consulting businesses alongside their corporate careers, or they're doing some freelance work alongside their careers. So that way they start to seed something for future them when they want to go full-time. Or I have folks who are being first-time people leaders, and they're like, okay, like I want to break into this, people leader role so I can manage people, develop them, but I need to, figure out what my next role would be, how to scope that out. I want to figure out what my promotion path is. So we do promotion planning together. And I want to figure out, once I get in there, how do I do a good job? Right? Because we need a whole different set of skills when it goes from being a doer to executor to strategist, right? And so I'm all about facts, feelings, and strategy. So if any of these things resonate with you and you've kind of been being like, oof, I'm stuck, I don't know, I haven't been taking action, what am I avoiding? I love my avoidant girlies. So go ahead, book a call, and I hope to see you on the next call. And so just know, again, this is Dani Tan, and you're listening to the You're Overqualified podcast. Have a good one.